Hey guys, Czar here. Hope all is well and trust you're having a good morning so far. It is 9:29, 10 seconds away from the open. As you can see, we had a nice big push here on the 8:30 news. Retail sales came out strong and the market rallied, interestingly enough. And the market now, of course, New York is now open. You can see that indicator forming there. You can ignore these diagonal lines for a moment. They will equalize here in a minute. Let's go over to the daily frame here, guys, for the three sisters, nasdaq, S&P, and Dow. And you can see that we are still in the midst of this pullback, this rally against this sell-off of 17% from peak to trough on the nasdaq, something similar on the S&P and on the Dow. But you can see we've been rallying strongly here on all three sisters, especially the Dow over here, guys. That candle is just unyielding here as a reaction to the retail sales news and the job news, of course, too. I think the market is actually placing more emphasis on jobs right now than, that means unemployment, those figures rather than the strong retail sales, which you would think would cause a sell-off. But the market is fickle and it does what it does, whether you and I like it or not. Over to the three sisters, you can see we're pushing up here. I'm going to zoom in on this. The 1 minute open range is complete. And there it is. Now we are sitting inside of the open range on all three. The power grid, guys, daily chart, there it is. There's that bullish daily having broken yesterday's high. And of course, we are way above yesterday's low. We are also above last week's range, the high of last week, the low of last week. And that's all part of that rally against the sell-off. We are in a clean traffic range on the 30-minute chart and pushing higher as we speak. This is the 1 minute chart here on the right hand side, guys. You can see pushing up over the open range on the NASDAQ, but dropping back in on the S&P and the Dow. So a little mixed message here earlier on and now dropping back on the NASDAQ. I certainly won't be doing anything here out of the gates, guys. Going to be watching to see how this thing reacts. Very often on these big, impulsive, almost emotional style moves that we see on 8:30 news, a lot of times that move is partially, if not completely, erased during the New York session. We'll see if that's going to happen here today. Who knows? All right. Nothing for me to do here, guys. Just watching to see this tug of war play out for a little bit here. See if we can figure out some structure and make decisions from there. The daily is decidedly bullish. In fact, very bullish. The 30-minute is decidedly bullish, but we are on the open here. Anything can happen. This move could be an extended move, in which case could be setting up for shorts. Who knows? Right now, up, up, and up. 9 above the 21 inside of the open range. That's neither here nor there. That's a neutral positioning, of course, from a candle standpoint. Anything's possible here on the open, guys. Not touching this for a while. Still very lackluster here on the S&P, actually dropping down. And of course the Dow not really participating either. Both of these are asleep here in the open range. And so the NASDAQ is having trouble going anywhere as well. All right, guys, interesting here. Really failing to follow through and starting to find some weakness here. I'm going to struggle to go short here against such bullish daily action, being in a clean traffic range here on the 30-minute chart. Doesn't mean we can't do it, or doesn't mean I won't do it, but I need to see some definitive structure and ideally some alignment here. And we're starting to see this weakness come in here now. Dow, S&P, not quite yet on the NASDAQ. All right, guys, just watching price action here and very quietly and calmly placing a marker here. I'm just measuring some things out. This is not an order yet. I'll tell you if I go live, just thinking about things. Move you back to the 1 minute chart here. Keep it nice and clean. There we go. Now that we've got that initial flurry out of the way. Not an order yet. Watching the three sisters on a different screen. S&P and Dow still below open range and below EMAs. NASDAQ bucking the trend here a little bit. All right, guys, buy stop order right here. Buy stop order. Right there. All right, guys, buy stop order live. All three sisters now pushing up. That's important. Let me show it to you very quickly here. 1, 2, and 3. Back into the open range on these two, and of course above on the NASDAQ, the strongest of the three in this moment. Bullish daily, bullish 30, back above this wick here. New highs for the entire futures contract session. In other words, higher than everything in the UK and Europe, higher than everything in the Asian session, and higher than almost everything in the New York session. We just need to break this, and that will be my trigger to get long and to join this party, right? If we don't get there, I'm not in. And I'm in, guys, right there. Long the NASDAQ, first trade of the day. And now it's the patience game. So what do we have here, guys? We have a very bullish daily chart hitting new highs now. We have a very bullish 30-minute chart, bullish reaction to the 8:30 news in a clean traffic range and pushing higher. We are above the open range, above the two EMAs. They are also in a bullish configuration, meaning the 9 is above the 21 and rising. These are all reasons to toss the coin and to call heads. And I would take this setup every day of the week, several times a day if it showed up. And no matter what happens here this morning, this is something I would just keep on tossing the coin on and calling heads. And now it's up to the market. This is trading. All right, guys, watching as we grind higher slowly. When we hit the 50% mark on the way to my target, I'm going to move my stop to break even to defend this thing. We're really grinding here, guys. We're not getting a whole lot of support from, certainly not from the Dow, and sleepiness from the S&P. I'd like to see more activity here, not getting it, so I'm going to play defense. And one of the easy ways to know if we got to the halfway point, for those who like to be precise, and I tend to be one of those people sometimes, is to use this particular marker right here on TradingView, and you can see that if you just go the extent of your target, this will always be the halfway point. You can see it just adjusts with the size of your measure. And so the moment we hit that, that's when I'll move to break even. And there's nothing magical or scientific about waiting for the halfway point. You just need to have some kind of a measure or a gauge or a benchmark to use on a consistent basis for these types of dynamic ideas. And so that's what I'm choosing today. I sometimes wait for 3/4 of the move, which would be right up here. Most often than not, I don't even move my stop to break even. But things are looking pretty grindy here this morning. And so defense is the name of the game for me. We are also very extended here, guys, of course. Again, this is a bullish move that I would take every day of the week and toss the coin on. There it is, guys. So moving my stop to break even now, right there. And I'm willing to take a break even if I need to on this. And now it's a no-lose situation, but it's certainly not a guaranteed win. And there it is, guys. Thanks for being here. Pretty straightforward trade. Felt like a grind to me. Not sure why. Maybe I had too much coffee this morning, but very simplistic kind of a trade. Simple trade, guys. Bullish daily, bullish 30, bullish 1 minute chart. A little tug of war, and then break above session high, above EMAs. The usual stack, of course. The only unit of doubt, of course, in this trade for me would be it's an extended move going in. And very often, these 8:30 impulsive reactions to news are reversed in the morning. So that was a unit of doubt. There's always something to worry about in a trade, but everything else was saying toss the coin, call heads, and that's what we did. Have an amazing day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.